Welcome to the GMologist Presents. In this episode, we have unboxings like promised. We have some mini reviews or overviews or first impressions of a couple games that I just got. The After, which is a Savage World setting, and the Promised Streets, a role-playing game, mini review commentary, a game where you play stray dogs or cats or a rat and have hijinks and adventures. I also answer to a question from Jason Connerly and answer it by another comment or summary of the new Twilight 2000 rule set, and then recaps of the various games that I played this week. So thank you very much for listening and enjoy. My first unboxing. So this is a package from Lightning Source out of Laverne, Tennessee. It's an economy mail package, USPS tracking, and it measures 10.5 by 16.25. If you might know what Lightning Source orders, so here it goes. Let's open it up. It's an easy open package. Inside are 2 books. The first book is an adventure book from Call of Cthulhu, but also using Gumshoe rules, called The Sasan Files, The Brother of Jesus. So it's a Call of Cthulhu project where it's a scenario for the Sasan Files, which is a campaign that takes place in China, out of Shanghai, I believe. And I've definitely been wanting to run it. I have some PDF products, and this looked pretty cool. And hey, it was on sale for some reason, so I decided to get it. Looks pretty neat. The second product is part of my penchant and obsession, maybe, for post-apocalyptic games, and it's called The After. It's a Savage World licensed product, and I believe it definitely is. It looks really nice. It's a good size soft cover book, measuring about 242 pages worth of Savage World stuff. And instead of being the little Savage World book, it's a big book, but the same kind of font and 2-column format that most Savage World books have. And it looks like it's a Savage World Adventure Edition. It's by Fainting Goat Games, Jade Monkey Studios, called The After. The war is over, the enemy has gone, reclaim the earth. So it's post-apocalyptic, where an enemy and the enemy's enemy, aliens, fought and caused a lot of destruction on Earth. And it looked pretty neat. I thought it was cool in that you don't just play humans, but there are other races that you can play. There are the hulking Helot, the nimble, wily Scav, and the people who are the Changed, which are, I guess, non-humans who might have special arcane, well, it's not arcane, I guess it's sci-fi, it would be like a psionic background. So it looks pretty cool. In a way, everything is kind of knocked back to maybe the 19th century technology. So there's remnants of the aliens that are on Earth, and it seems like it's sort of Rocky Mountains, the setting. They have like a Wind River Valley setting, and it has a town that you're based out from, and then various ruins and things you can do. It reminds me very much of Other Dust. So pretty cool. I'm looking forward to maybe setting up Savage Worlds on the Roll20 and running some of The After. A little bit more on The After. Like I said, it's a Savage Worlds licensed product, post-apocalyptic action in a changed world by Fainting Goat Games and Jade Monkey Studios. The authors are... The artwork and original concept are by John Gibbons, and the author is Sean Noakes. And there's additional writing by a host of people. It's definitely a new product, so it's got to be Adventure Edition. But I wanted to read the little intro because I thought it was kind of neat. And during your game of The After, you can explore strange alien wreckage, scavenge from the ruins of forgotten cities, hunt incredible prey in the depths of warped jungles, and explore all manner of bizarre landscapes. You and your companions can defend survivor settlements from bandits, tribes of twisted ferals, and other dangerous creatures. You might discover uncanny alien artifacts left behind from the conflict that destroyed the old world. Some of these might contain alien breach energy, that's the big bad alien that was there, and deliver incredible but short-lived powers. Others might be biomechanical augmentations that can, with great risk being planted right into your flesh. Most importantly, it will be you or people like you that shape the course of humanity's future. So it's kind of neat. It's supposed to be not as dystopian, but hope. There is hope in the world. And that's it. So I'll actually I'll look up the website and put the info for it on online. I did get it from Drive-Thru Studios or Drive-Thru Print on Demand. So there you go. Oh, they have a podcast, the Banff podcast, the Mana Burnt podcast, etc. So very cool. A John Gibbons production. All right, another unboxing. I have a box here that says time-sensitive material from Hunt Valley, Maryland, USPS tracking. The box is 8 by 10 by 5 1/4 deep. So here goes. All right. I see lots of packing paper inside. And here we go. Several books. Oh, this is the what other people have unboxed this, but I guess I'm just getting to this now. The OSC Essentials editions that in bubble wrap. Everything looks nice and compact. I open it up, and what am I getting? I think I had gotten the box set before, and these are the editions from the last Kickstarter. So here we go. What am I? So the two adventure books, The Incandescent Grottos and Halls of the Blood King, by Gavin Norman and Diego Noguera. The reference booklet, Carcass Crawler zine, the Carcass Crawler zine. Oh, very cool. And then the Monsters, Treasures, and Genre Rules, and Druid and Illusionist spell books to complete the collection. So very exciting. What is a reference booklet? I know everything else seems pretty so intuitive. Oh, just like a quick game procedural, waterborne adventures, encounters, combat, the Matrix, different monsters by hit dice type, dungeon encounters, quick player characters and their ability scores, what bonuses mean, saving throw table, classes and skills, chances of success, turning undead, spell progression, languages, weapon proficiencies and secondary skill, downtime and equipment, animals and transport, equipment lists with adventuring gear, weapons and armor. So it's like a handy dandy little reference to keep at the table, quick reference for old school essentials. I like that. And the other thing was the Carcass Crawler zine. I like these little books. They're kind of cool. So they have new fantasy classes like the Arcane Bard, Beastmaster. Looks pretty cool. Compatibility with OSE. I like that. Very nice. So this is like, it looks like everything is dedicated to player stuff. So player new fantasy classes and new fantasy races, the Changeling, Mutoid, and Mycelian, like a fungus man. Expanded equipment. Do they got ladders? They have ladders. 5 gold pieces for a 10-foot wooden ladder. There you go. It's important to have ladders in a RPG. So I'm very excited about these books to add them to my OSE collection. It'd be fun to get OSE to the table. Maybe that's another one I can put up on the Roll20 and just have going like a drop-in, drop-out type of dealie, or just play various adventures and go from there. But there we go. Unboxing of the old school essentials. How to put it on my shelf. Oh, and guess what? There's another unboxing that I'm going to share with you in this episode. Again, it's another box. Oh, it says Frog God Games, so I'm pretty sure I know what this is. It is, again, a 5 1/4 deep and 8 by 10. So it's... tape. Don't cut yourself. Yep, it's the Sword and Wizardry box set. Also in Kickstarter from late last year. You can hear the pop, pop, pop of all the stuff. They're surrounded by bubble wrap. So there's an outer box and an inner box. Lovely. Lots of stuff for the recycle. So it did come with on the outside was an accessory pack. And the inside inner box contains the complete box set. Very cool. It seems like it has dice in it, which is nice. You can hear it shaking. Let's try to take off the shrink wrap here. Open the box and see what's inside. Like I said, outside was an accessory pack. Oops. Stuff falling all over the place. What does the accessory pack contain? Referee screen, more monsters, and an adventure, it seems. The accessory pack in a little sleevey thing. I don't know how I'm a fan of those sleevey things because I never know what to do with them. They never fit in anything. But hey, the screen's pretty nice. Little 4-panel screen. Not very... Seems like it's... how tall is the screen? 5.5 inches. So... And it has monster attack, fighter paladin attack, cleric... It's just attack tables on it. I like the art though. It's a nice, cool art on the outside. And then the Baron's Gambit, Baron's Gambit and more monsters. So more monsters are a little monster book. Some more monsters. Supplement number 1, and then adventure module, the Baron's Gambit. Nice. Good little adventure. Put it back in the accessory pack, little sleevey thing. And what's in the box? Shake it open. Oh, by the way, for the OSC stuff, I have the original box from the first Kickstarter. All the rule books fit in there, and I just took out the adventures to just put on my shelf. But all the rule books fit in there pretty well. It's still closed. And here we got a bookmark, a set of green dice, a thank you note. That's very nice. Awesome. Spells and Magic book, the referee book, the monsters book, and the player book. And, character sheets. Very nice. Very simple character sheets. I like that setup and style. That's cool. These books are all about 50 or so pages. So there you go. Player book, etc. It looks like everything will be able to fit. So I will put the accessory pack in the box with everything. I like that. Everything fits really well. So there you go, Swords and Wizardry complete box set unboxing.
Hey Carl, Jason here. You know, my memory's not the same as it ever was, and because I'm fairly tone deaf, I never really got that much into music, to be honest. I kind of know some bands, but you know, I'm pretty limited in being able to tell you this is that song from that band. I was doing the best I could. Sorry. As far as post-apocalyptic games, yeah, I love that genre, especially that genre of movies. Now, I'm not so much into zombies. I think zombies are overdone. But for non-zombie apocalypses and stuff, I'm into that. So I look forward to what you have to say. I've got a number of those games myself, both board games and RPGs. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. I know you're looking at, the new version Twilight 2000. I look forward to playing that, and yeah, whatever else you want to run.
Jason mentioned Twilight 2000, the 4th edition, and this was a Kickstarter done recently by Free League Publishing, Free Legon, and they are famous for their Mutant Year Zero engine. So this game is a modification of that game system. And so far on paper, as I've read through it, they've released the PDFs, the final proof PDFs. It seems like a amalgamation of Savage Worlds and the Mutant Year Zero engine. So, for example, in Mutant Year Zero engine, you need to roll a pool of 6-sided dice, and 6 is a success. In the Twilight 2000, they expand that to where you can improve your attributes and skills to 8, 10, and 12, and you roll skill plus attribute 2 dice, and you look at the results, and you measure that result by number of successes, again, over 6. So obviously on an 8, it's 6 to 8. On a 10, it's 6 to 10. And on a D12, it's 6 to 12. So your chances improve with your increase in skill or attribute. Also, if you get a 10 or better, which will be on the D10 or the D12 dice, that counts as 2 successes. So I haven't quite read through combat yet, but I know already that you use a form of the action card mechanic from Savage Worlds, where you draw cards, but instead of you basically get rid of all the face cards, and you use the cards 2 through 10 with the ace as a 1, and you draw, and the lower the better. So an ace is a 1, and that is the best result that you could get. You can go fastest. So again, I got to read through the mechanics, but they do have rules for automatic fire, rules for suppressing fire. It definitely has that vibe of the survival game, reminiscent of the original Twilight 2000, which I did take a look at, and in comparison, it's very math. The original Twilight 2000 is just very math intensive, and you need a calculator around, and the math isn't always intuitive. For example, in range combat, instead of the range increments or the damage being 0.5, 0.25, it's weird, like 0.6, 0.4. I mean, seriously, it's not just a divisible by 2 thing for whatever reason that the designers came up with. And even in character creation, you need to, when you do all your stats, you need to add them up, and that is a factor that goes into your skills, and they have a big worksheet that you have to do to fill it out. So it is pretty complicated and cumbersome, but as I was talking to Shay Webster of Roleplay Rescue, I guess I feel it wasn't that cumbersome when we were doing it back in, I'm going to say, high school, early college years, maybe because we were in class and we were always doing math anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. But now we want something faster, slicker. Character creation in Twilight 2000, you can do 2 methods. There's an archetype method, which is they have templates, and you just answer a few questions and you're done. It didn't take that long. I put 6 characters up on the Roll20, inspired by a little intro paragraph to chapter 2 in the character creation, where it introduced a little team. And I actually rolled an APC for them. So if we ever take this to the Roll20, the characters will have an APC, group of 6. But it's hard to get 6 players, especially for a older post-apocalyptic type game. But I like post-apocalyptic, and Jason suggested that he did. I've already had some interest on the Carl's Gaming Dungeon. Maybe I'll get some more. That should be pretty cool. Anyway, what else was I going to say about Twilight 2000? It definitely still has, or the other character creation method, is a life path method, which goes into more detail, and you go basically 4-year by 4-year increment, reminiscent of what Modifius 2D20 does, or even Traveler, any incarnation of Traveler does. So you can be more granular in your character creation and see where they were or where they were at. They have rules on, whether you are busted out of your career and when the war starts, so you can figure out how old you are when the war starts. So that's pretty very interesting life path system. I wanted to get pre-gens out there just in case people didn't want to do that, and I use the archetype method. But if anyone wants to do the life path method, hey, let's go for it. It should be fun to do, and I would suggest we do a session 0 where everyone kind of makes a character. I did that with the Warhammer Fantasy RPG that I'm running, and it worked really well. I mean, at least I got the shell of what the characters were. They didn't go into all the details, but we got together and we rolled basically, at least in Warhammer Fantasy, we rolled species, class, and then rolled the stats. All the things that would or would not give you XP if you did random. So I guess what am I disappointed with in the Twilight 2000 so far? I think the weapons and gear section is not as comprehensive as it could be, but then the old system in Twilight 2000, they had whole books on, they had like a basic system, but even in the main book, there's still a lot of choices. I mean, here they have, just a smattering of basic civilian weapons and then U.S. military, some German military, Polish military, Soviet military, and Swedish military. Since one of the regions you can start in is on the Swedish coast as opposed to Poland, which is the traditional starting point. I will probably start in Poland if I run it. I think it would have been nice to have at least names of guns. I mean, we have the internet. I could look it up. I looked up, for example, what the U.S. SEALs use as sniper rifles, aside from the Barrett Light 50 that they had just barely incorporated in 2000, so there weren't really enough. It doesn't make sense. And then I looked up, what German sidearms would be available, because that was not as comprehensive for one of the characters who's a German intelligence agent. So, I guess you can do that again if you know guns, or you can Google it. So it's not that big a deal. The game is still a survival game. You need to keep track of food, water, and radiation. I noticed the APC runs on diesel fuel. That's probably going to run out unless the characters find it. But then they have rules for converting your engine to using alcohol as a fuel system, which I think is always a fun and pretty cool thing. I really liked something that was neat in character creation is not only do they have their skill and attribute, but each character has a talent, and you get a talent based on one of your skills, and it gives you a bonus dice. Or actually, it bumps up your dice instead of a bonus dice. I think bonus dice was in the old MYZ, in the older or the other MYZ system, but in this variant, you'd basically bump your dice from like a D8 to a D10 or something like that if you have a talent specialization for a particular skill, a subset of a particular skill. For example, Ronson, the machine gunner, he has machine gunner as a specialty, so his dice gets bumped up by a dice. I think it goes from D10 to D12, so he's pretty deadly with a squad machine gun. I think he has an M249. So I think it's a pretty neat game. I'm excited to run it. I hope that answers your question, Jason. A brief rundown of it. I think on play, and I think what's neat, if I start in the Poland, it's a breakout after a military engagement. It is pretty much a sandbox, and there are hints on where you should go, but hey, you don't have to go that way, although it's probably more difficult if you go another way. But it looks pretty it looks neat, and I should stop saying neat. I say neat way too much. So I'll try to work on that and the because Andy Goodman said too many ums make it sound non-professional. But other people said it sounds natural. So in summary, looking forward to running Twilight 2000 one of these days. Games got canceled this week, so I didn't run my Iron Kingdoms 5th edition game that I usually run on Wednesdays, and then our Thursday night game, Barbarians of Lemuria, that Jason Connerly runs, got canceled. Well, we chatted a bit on Zoom. One of the players couldn't make it, and Jason, for the finale of his little mini campaign, wants everyone in, so all hands. So we also talked about what we're going to do next, and I volunteered. I asked what other people would run if we had a backup, but according to Jason's podcast, I was volunteered to run Deadlands, which I was set up to. So that's Twilight 2000 that I set up, Deadlands that I set up, and now I'm going to set up also on another Roll20 of Savage Worlds game, The After. So there you go. That's what's going on there. However, not all my games got canceled. I got to play Savage Sewers, which Arlen Walker of Live from Pelham's Wasteland runs, and that was hella fun. It was only Shay, Webster, and I play, as I mentioned, Brody, the big, dumb, slow gator man with a heart of gold. Well, I mean, he can stealth and thieve, but whatever. If you can imagine him, imagine if Jack Black were a big gator man, because Jack Black in all his movies, he's like a big dude, but he seems like light on his feet and stealthy and jinky, and Brody's kind of like that, except with, a snout full of big teeth and claws. So we did a follow-up. Last time we found the robot ninja base, and this time we kind of got together at our lair, and we're looking to see what was the Ninja Master's plans. So we looked at a map, called in some of our resources, tried to triangulate what where we're coming from, all these robot ninjas and cyborg ninjas and ninjas in general, and we saw that there were some hot spots. So we started doing patrol and tracked a group down. It was a big fight. We beat them up, a lot of ninja and robot ninja and a cyborg ninja, who it looks like our plans to disrupt the Ninja Master's plans had worked. When we took that tech place, it seems like the cyborg ninjas aren't as shifty and the robot ninjas aren't as quick. So we did something good, us sewer creature peoples. And after we beat them up, we took a prisoner. We got the jump on them, and Brody in the first round was able to clock one on the head and not bite his head off. In this combat, Brody also got to go into Berserk Rage, which made him even more silly, crazy. I mean, definitely hittable, but not endurable. Although, I mean, Arlen did have to roll to shake Brody, and then you have an option to... You're still shaken, but you have an option to go into a Berserk Rage if you want to or not. So the consequences that you get fatigued. You can get to 2 fatigue if you can't shake out of the rage. After 5 rounds, you're fatigued. After 10 rounds, you're double fatigued. So you have to get out of it. And I think it's a smarts roll, which is not Brody's strong suit. So we did take a prisoner. We interrogated him. It was some fun role playing with Shay Webster. And we got the information to track down the Ninja Master, and we knew his plans were to basically have various locations in the sewers and come up and disrupt Central City or the Big Apple. I think it was Central. No, we're the Big Apple. Big Apple City. I guess apples grow on trees there. Apples at every corner. I don't know. New York, come on. And then that was it. We got there. We did a dramatic test to get there. And I think we're ready for the finale, I hope, the next time. We'll see how that goes. It should be fun. Hopefully we have backup. If it's just Shay and I, it'll be kind of hard. Anyway, that was Savage Sewer Creatures. I played another game other than Savage Worlds. Saturday, I played in Kevin Madison's continuing campaign of Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, which is going to have a Kickstarter soon where they'll just shorten the name to Hyperborea, because Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea is a mouthful. So I play an Amazonian warlock who is a necromancer named Iphigenia Acantodoros. She's a badass. She's got 18 strength. I think it's funny that the other players never remember how strong and badass that Iphigenia is, and they call her Iffy. Kevin calls her Iffy, which bothers, well, it doesn't bother me from Kevin, but if the other players were to call her Iffy, they would get a fistful of metal, that is for sure. So, but it's neat to see her showcased when there are less players, especially less of the martial types, because she is pretty badass. It's too bad that George's character Malo is not around, because that is a 1-2 punch of swordsmanship and magic that is just devastating, because he is a pyromancer. Anyway, so this time we continued our journey we started out that we were supposed to find a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and there were once 3 characters, but now there are only 2 because no one else could show up. But we did it. We survived. Iphigenia held the line, got her spear ready. The Tyrannosaurus charged, got stabbed by the spear, and meanwhile, Amar, who's played by Will, he blasted her with his radiation gun, blasted the Tyrannosaurus with his radiation gun, while Iphigenia held place. The creature bit and clawed and injured Iphigenia, but she slashed and slashed and slashed some more, and within 3 rounds we took it down. It didn't run, and it was dead, and now we have Tyrannosaurus steaks for about a week. So we continued on, and we ran into some of this tribe called the Toad Skippers, which I imagine are, well, Kevin actually did a drawing of them, so they look mostly human, but they have bulging eyes, kind of like Lovecraftian deep ones, but not quite fishy, more froggy. So we didn't run into them yet. We actually found a river. We found a boat in a deserted village. Seems like a lot of villages are deserted. We put the boat back together as best we could, and when we were going across the big river, if you can imagine the Mississippi or the Amazon, a big muddy river like that, we were attacked by these gator men. Fortunately, it wasn't Brody from Savage Worlds Gator Men, and we lightning bolted and rad blasted them, and they tried to knock us into the drink, but they never did. Iphigenia continued to cut them down. I mean, I rolled pretty well, and I think I missed once in this combat, and again got injured. But we have, fortunately, potions of healing that we drink like shots of whiskey or water. I remember there's this, I can't remember the title, but I remember the author was Joel Rosenberg, and it was a series where, maybe someone can help me, probably Jason knows, he knows everything. It was a series by Joel Rosenberg where these people from Earth went to a fantasy world, and he had an interesting consequence of drinking too many healing potions, which was you could not heal naturally, or you lost the ability to heal naturally very well, because you just down and down healing potions, and they kind of messed up your natural healing. It's an interesting idea. I gave that idea to Kevin, and he is a devious GM, so maybe he'll implement it, which would be kind of funny. Sorry, everyone. So then anyway, we defeated those Gatormen creature troll things and got to the other side. It was an uneventful night, and then the next day we ran into the Toad Skipper tribe of human frog hybrids, and we impressed them because we told them we beat up some frog shambler guys, and they took us to their village so we could have a chance to rest, and they gave us another mission to help them with the war against the frog shamblers, and they would take us to the tower. So we have some henchmen that are toad skippers with us, which is great. They helped us to identify some magic items that we found, which was even better because in Ash, magic equals XP. Magic items equals XP, and we did pretty well, Will and I. We didn't have to use any astonishing fortune, so those are hero points that Kevin adds in, and we got that banked as XP because we didn't use them, because Will and I work really well together, which I think is great. And we got lucky because the game is swingy, right? If that Tyrannosaur had gotten a crit on Iphigenia or hit a couple more times, it would have been a different story. But she hit and it didn't, though it hit a couple times and it hurt. I don't know where I was at. I was interrupted. But I do want to say that it was cool to play with just 2 people because we came out of there with 9,000 experience points after the monsters and the magic that we identified. And Iphigenia had got a slight upgrade with regards to some magic armor she can move faster in the jungle and walk on water and shield. So it's pretty cool. We'll be ready to go next time, I hope, although I might miss next time because I think we have a appointment we're going to go brew beer with a friend of mine on July 3rd. So probably no Ash next time, which would be unfortunate because I'm having fun in these smaller groups. So I just finished another gaming session today. Today is Sunday. Happy Father's Day, all the fathers out there. June 20th. And I just finished a session of our ongoing Savage Pathfinder game that is also run by Kevin Madison of the Dungeon Musings podcast and YouTube Actual Play. So it was a really fun session, continuation from last time. Last time we discovered that there were gremlins. We learned that they were a form of gremlin called mites, and we were able to. We're joined by two other players, which was good. So we left the henchmen in the background at camp with the horses, and we went to investigate and try to track down these mite gremlin creatures. We tracked them down to their lair. It was like tunnels, and we infiltrated the lair, and it was a big combat with lots of mites and 2 big creatures, a giant centipede and a giant and the leader riding a giant tick. To get to there, we had run into some insect swarms, but my character dispatched them pretty quickly with the judicious use of burst power, so like a Burning Hands equivalent type spell. We explored a little bit in their lair until they tried to jump us from 2 different sides, but we kind of took care of it. Kate was great against the centipede, took it down after casting Smite on her sword, Sky Metal Blade, to make it a giant flaming sword. And the others just were taking down mites left and right. And Mare, our android gunslinger, took down the bad guy riding his giant tick pretty quickly, fired like rapid shot with the infernal pistol, and rolled great on damage and destroyed the rider first and then the tick. So we dispatched them, but then we discovered that we were trying to look for people and prisoners. We discovered that the mites, these evil little things, had been collecting people for food, and we only found one survivor, and he was in bad shape. And we also learned that it was the innkeeper who had sold them out. So, we rescued this man, confronted the innkeeper because he had ordered these horses basically for mite food. So we took him back, and Frontier Justice, that's the world. The alternative was to take him to the Black Sovereign in the capital and try him for I don't know what, saving his own life at the expense of the others. So we did some Frontier Justice, tied him up to a tree, left a note on him for the mites to come and get him. And Kevin had a epilogue scene as we were leaving back to Torch, with the mites swarming and attacking this man with insects, this betrayer of his own village, and then cutting him up for food. So it was weird, like a little horror tale with these evil little creatures. But we succeeded. It was fun. It's always a good time with these players, and our characters are pretty hoss. They're in Savage Lands parlance. They are veterans now, and I think they have like 10 advances, so getting close to legendary. And I took some advances. I've been taking advances mainly to, for what happens in gameplay, more of role playing, but I had taken some extra power points this time around, and then for my advance after this session, I decided to open Intimidate, because I didn't have it, but I had to try to use it twice, and I made it once and failed once, and I upped my ride, since I want to be a cavalry riding dwarf. So there you go. That was Savage Pathfinder Iron Gods verse. All right, I'm going to have a special treat tonight. I ran a game of Deadlands using the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition tonight with my friends David and Melissa, my wife Amy, and I have special guests. I'm going to ask them a question about tonight's session, and they're going to answer, and then I'll follow up probably with some of my thoughts about tonight's session. So we were able to finish Showdown at sundown, and I think it was a pretty cool conclusion. I like Savage Worlds a lot. I think it works well with Deadlands. All right, so, okay, David, what was your favorite part of tonight's session?
I really enjoyed the showdown part. I thought it was really cool how some of the players were actually in the duels, and then the other players were able to try and rile up the crowd or intimidate the other fighter. And it added a neat component to the game where everybody was involved, even though they weren't necessarily in the duel.
Great, thank you. So it was really neat. We used the duel mechanic in the Deadlands book, where the duelist gets cards and there's like a build-up while the duelists stare at each other, and then things happen in the crowd, and like David said, everyone can contribute, and then at the end of round 3 we show our cards, and I thought it was really neat. And what was cool tonight is that 2 things happened that I thought were cool. Several things happened. All right, so 2 players participated. Both players won their first round. In the next round, they faced off at each other, but one player conceded right away, which I thought was funny and cool. And I think I gave him a Benny for it. Maybe I didn't. They say that I keep hearing comments that I don't give out enough bennies. But in the end, the last character faced off against an NPC and won. And it was bloody. It was neat. People were jarring and cheering from the crowd, so the other players were participating, as David said. And I think it was a pretty satisfying duel. I like the duel mechanic, and I did suggest that one of the players take the duelist edge, so I'm going to have more duels in the future. Okay, Amy, you're next. What was your most favorite memorable moment from tonight's session?
Well, this is the first time in a while I've not been dressed fully as a girl. I was back in my agent costume. I enjoyed dueling with somebody, but it was more fun taunting. Definitely more fun taunting. I enjoyed almost dying, but in a defeatist moment, I accidentally on purpose shot back and injured the person, knocking both of us out. That was kind of fun. And then it was very fun not dying completely and going and rescuing the group and killing the big dude with only 2 shots. Catching the deck of cards and throwing it to my second favorite character for her exciting date with the devil.
So we had a good build up to the finale, and Amy, as usual, in a stressful moment, rolls exploding dice, especially on damage. I think she did a total of upwards of 7 wounds. I think I used both my bennies to try to soak, or all my bennies that I had left to try to soak. she annihilated like the boss's lieutenant with like one shot from her Gatlin pistol, and then she rolled 25 points of damage, I think, on the huckster, big bad huckster evil character, and took him out. And it was pretty satisfying, I think, from a player's perspective. Maybe not so much from the GM's perspective, but from a player's perspective, to just wipe out those two wild cards. All right, so Melissa had stage fright, but she did tell me what the she doesn't want to talk to you, all you nerds and geeks out there. Sorry. So she did tell me her favorite part of tonight's session. However, so during the finale, when after Amy's character Sam threw the card deck, the magical evil card deck, to Hex, which is Melissa's character, I gave her the option of either rolling the dice like a skill. It was a skill challenge or dramatic task anyway, but I gave her an option of playing hands of poker against the evil Manitou overlord who was controlling the spirits going through the bad gate that they had to shut down by winning cards. So we played 2 hands of poker. She won both of them. It was pretty cool because she used her, like, basically her huckster ability and some gambling rolls, and won with 2. What did you win with? And what did you win with, Melissa?
Both hands were with 2 sets of pairs.
Great. Yeah, and I had like a pair of 5s and then nothing. So she beat the skull-faced, cow-headed, skull-faced Manitou, and they shut the gate. They won the day. They saved the town. Best Deadlands ever, well, so far. So thank you all for listening. And we are planning to continue. It's a great group of players. We have fun. We drink beer. We eat really well because both Melissa and Amy cook amazing food, and David and I just eat it. We're like the guinea pigs. But we drink lots of beer while we play. We actually had a bottle of wine this time since it was Father's Day. I guess it's special. But that's what we do. We have dinner, and then we either go out and have fun at one of our favorite, kind of places to drink, Flying Saucer, which you guys have heard about. It's like our Cheers. Or we play games here, whether it's Deadlands, Savage Worlds, or Catan, or Carcassonne, or Lunch Money, or Exploding Cats. So, all right, I'm going to leave here because we're all starting to laugh. Thank you. As promised, I'm going to look at the Streets role-playing game by Andrew Orvidal and Eliza Skinner, and illustrations by Amelia July and Andrew Orvidal, layout by Rachel Weeks. So Streets, it's from the Zine Quest, and it's a tabletop role-playing game where you work with other players and the host, the GM, who's running the game to tell a story. Basically, you play a stray dog or a cat, and they actually have rules to be a rat, getting into adventures and avoiding being snatched by animal control or worse. So the world truths are that humans can understand you, but cannot understand you, but other animals can. You don't die, but if you take broken level damage, you're taken to the pound. If you're taken to the pound, you'll be adopted 1d6 days later. While this is a happy ending for your character, it actually removes you from the game. So its character creation is pretty easy. You choose a breed or a mixed breed, and you have a certain core energy scores totaling 7 points. And the core energies are mental, physical, and charm. And then you have skills. And then you assign them to the available skills. So assign those points to your core energy and then assign them to the available skills. So you have 7 points for each group. And then there's 3 mental skills, 3 physical skills, 3 charm skills. 0 to 5, 5 being the best. And then you have luck and talents. Talents are based on you being a cat or a dog or a type of dog breed. The roles very similar. It seems akin to Powered by the Apocalypse. It's a 2d6 roll. You add your skill into it. And from 2 to 5 is a failure. 6 to 8 is a so-so result. 9, 11 is an outright success, and 12 plus success with benefits. There's advantages and disadvantages. So you might roll when you have a favorable or unfavorable advantage. Take the highest or lowest. That's a very similar mechanic. It's a d6. And then when you take damage, you have 6 body parts the legs, the forelegs, the body, and the head. And as a result of a conflict, you roll 1d6 and apply it to the damage. If you're injured, you get a disadvantage. I think it seems like it can only be injured twice. So the first time it gets hurt is injured. The second part is it's broken. And when you're injured, you get a disadvantage. If the body part again gets broken, then you can no longer perform skills or checks, and you're taken by concerned folks to the vet or the pound. Unless you rescue or escape, then you're out of the game. So then after that, that's the first 5 pages, the basic rules. Then there's a lot of pages, and the book is broken up into 2 sections. So the player section and then a no dogs allowed section. I guess that's reminiscent of the Snoopy cartoon, the Peanuts cartoon, Snoopy Come Home. And then the running the game is the second section from page 14 to 50. And it has how to run the game, game variants, different turfs in the city that the strays are in, a story generator, which is very nice. You can just do that. Various one-shots. They have a map of the pound. So I liked it. It's a cute game. They have a lot of little adventures. Actually, the second half of the book is mostly adventures or encounters that you can do. They have a campaign idea with several adventures as well. The art is like a sketched inks, which are nice, not color, black and white, but it's pretty neat. Right, they have I guess they have come out with another module. It seems there's an advertisement. So, and this one I think they add magic to the game where the animals become powered, super powered, which would be kind of fun. Take it to more fantasy as opposed to real world problem solving by a bunch of stray dogs and cats and the occasional rat. So Streets, that's the role-playing game. I'll put it's by Occupied Hex Games. It looks like they have a Patreon. I'll try to look for the website and give you that in the show notes. So very cool. One of the couple zines I did for Zine Quest. Streets, a role-playing game. So saying that, would I run this game? I think I would. It'd be fun. I should prep it for like a one-shot. And do it with character creation. Hey, let's do the Streets game. Because it is very simple, powered by the apocalypse. Look through some of the adventures in the back. And just do it for just a fun. Maybe I could convince my wife to run it. Because she's been always wanting me to run Cat Cthulhu. Which is a Call of Cthulhu when you play a cat. So Streets will probably be up their alley. So we'll see.
Vocal ideations.
All right, I'm going to give the answers to the song snippets that I tried to sing so far in episodes 1 through 6. I think I will do this occasionally so you all don't go and look on the internet to see what they are. And I think I only had one participant anyway in this phase, and it was Jason Connerly, and he only guessed the artist on 2 of the songs. Some people just aren't as musically... They love music, but like Jason said, he's tone deaf, and he can't recall singer or song to artist. And my wife is like that too. She'll go, oh, I know the artist, but doesn't know the song, which is cool. So I guess I have decided to give him a half a Benny for his guesses, and he guessed the artist on 2 of them, so he has 1 Benny. So I'll put 1 Benny into the pot, and I don't know when I'll do my drawing. Maybe around my birthday, which will be in about a month or so. Actually, exactly a month from now. Wow, I'm going to be all of 51 years old. So maybe on my birthday, I will give a gift. So expect more songs to come. But hey, for episodes 1 to 6, the songs are done. You cannot guess on them anymore. And here they are. From episode 2, it was You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget by Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. And it was also Raise Your Horns by Amon Amarth, also from episode 2. From episode 3, it was pretty obvious, Manic Monday by the Bangles. That was the title, just another Sunday fun day, ha ha ha. But I also had the songs Metal Gods by Judas Priest and The Trooper by Iron Maiden. And then in my Savage Weekend recap, episode 5, I had Closer to the Heart by Rush, and then Hold On by Triumph, Fight the Good Fight also by Triumph, and I closed out with Daddy Sang Bass, Mama Sang Treble, just Daddy Sang Bass by Johnny Cash. So those are the answers, and hope you did well in your own little self-quiz. And Jason Connerly has a Benny. Mark the tape.